Welcome, everybody. We are
Dulcie and
Tatiana with Astrology Victoria, and today we are presenting a very special topic for ANN, for as Archetypal News Network. And I am super excited to have this opportunity thanks to
Ren and to James Moran. Yes, we want to say a special thank you to them for inviting us to talk about the full moon. We are so grateful for this opportunity and we look forward to this talk. This video is recorded, so it's live now, but it will be posted on the ANN YouTube channel later. You can also go to their website, which is archetypalnews.net. So they have a website. You can check everything out there, see who the faculty is, what the schedule is, when videos will be up, and what the topics will be.
Thank you very much to Ren Butler, and James Moran with Archetypal News Network. And they also have videos every single day on all archetype or astrological themes going on in the sky. And so for everybody watching, please make sure you also subscribe to their channel. So today we're meeting here in Astrology Victoria to discuss what, Dulcie? What are we discussing today?
The full moon in Scorpio, which we should be seeing in the sky pretty soon.
I know, especially here. I mean, it's still a little bit light, but very soon we can see the very bright luminary.
And a bigger moon too, so it'll seem a bit bigger than it normally is.
So the full moon, the full moon in Scorpio will be diving into the archetypal feel of this full moon by observing the different aspects, the transiting planets, how that's playing out right now. It's a very intense time. So for lack of a better word, so take a deep breath. And after our exposition, we will be doing a short guided meditation to actually integrate these energies, to feel to feel into the energies, and as everybody watching here can be together, just intentionally harnessing this energy. And even if you're watching this afterwards, this meditation still holds very valid for you at any moment in time. So with no further ado, Dulcie, should we start with our presentation?
Yes, definitely. Okay, so let's go to our presentation. I'll just share the presentation itself and go here. Is that good? Can you see?
Yeah, everybody watching, can you see what's going on there? The full moon in Scorpio happening exactly at this second. So maybe let's take 10 seconds to be in the theme, see that image, be in the theme, take a deep breath maybe. This is our moment of the full moon. All right, let's do it.
Definitely feeling it. Okay.
Okay, so here we have the chart of the day. So Dulcie, what are some of the main themes that we will be exploring today? This is a little bit the overview, and then we'll go into detail. And for people who are new to astrology, don't get confused by all those little symbols and signs. We'll be explaining it so you get a deep sense of what's happening. So, yes, Dulcie, go ahead.
Just we can see the moon here in Scorpio is opposing the stellium here in Taurus. So you can see the sun, Uranus, Venus, and Mercury all in Taurus. So we'll be discussing in depth a bit more about what that means. And we'll also be including a little bit about Saturn, how that is squaring all of this, and we'll talk about Mars as well. But just to discuss and the overview of the themes that we'll be talking about.
And Jupiter. Don't forget Jupiter.
Of course. Oh,
Hey, come on.
Don't forget Jupiter. We need Jupiter.
How can we need Jupiter at this moment? So anyway, the main things we're going to be discussing is it's a time to dive deep into the emotional shadow themes, and that's what the full moon in Scorpio will be highlighting. So it's the deep, raw, real things. And on the Taurus side, there's this need at this moment to really get real with yourself and ask yourself the question, what do you truly value and love? Because that's who you truly are. It's no longer about what everybody wants of us, what society wants of us. It's you. So this is a time of deep introspection. So things that are hidden are going to be brought to the surface. So we can actually, by contrast, really say yes, no, and then extract the value. Another theme would be, of course, the value. It's also in relationships. Like, what do we value? Who do we value? Why do we value the people we're in a relationship or anything we're in relationship with? Also, our relationship to money. How do I make my living? Like, am I happy at my job? Do I not like it? Would I rather do something else? All of these things are going to be coming up at this full moon. And there are changes occurring definitely they're just happening, whether we like it or not. We're going to experience change. So it's better to cooperate with the change rather than the change happening without us.
And go with the flow rather than resisting it.
Yeah, it's better to go with the flow rather than resisting, for sure, Dulcie. So these changes that want to occur, we want to move towards a more sustainable, stable, happier sense of self, and therefore a real manifestation in our current reality. And these changes brought by Uranus, or catalyzed by Uranus, are going to be again there's this tension between what we feel, what we need to release and let go of, so that we can access that more sustainable way of being within our own sense of self-worth and value and what we love. So that tension, you'll be feeling it because it's emotional, and at the same time it could be very restless energy. Like, we don't know where we're standing. Everything's like shaky ground. And at the same time, we want to see something more stable coming. So it can be that emotional interior and that external reality that wants to hold us in a more steady, slow, gentle pace, and how we can ground that reality. So that's another theme, major themes. It's important at this time to give yourself space to process these intense emotions. Whatever's happening to you, this is a time that we need to be gentle and kind and compassionate to ourselves, so we can process whatever is coming up. So yeah, these are the main themes that we'll be discussing. Dulcie, would you like to add anything to this in particular?
Yeah, so we're just kind of sifting through the inner, what's the word, like moss, the inner struggles that we have that might not necessarily be super conscious to us on a daily basis, but they are in there and they are affecting our behavior. They're affecting our thoughts. So we've been kind of sitting with it unconsciously for a while now, and now that it's the full moon, it is right there in our face. So there's no avoiding it at this point.
Awesome. Okay, so that's the overview. So for those who are new to astrology or not, or if you know, if you have any planets at 7 degrees, that's where the full moon is happening, of the fixed signs. So what are the fixed signs? Because this is a lot of fixed energy right now we're having. This is Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, or Aquarius. If you don't know your planets or your degrees, even if you just know your sun sign and you're any of those signs, you might be feeling this energy is saying, hello, I'm talking to you. You know, and it's going to be like intense. Not that the other doors are not feeling it, like everybody feels the energy in a different way, but every birth chart is unique. So people with this like 7 degrees or around 7 degrees, like give or take up to 15 degrees wiggle room, uh, um, you will be feeling this very deeply. And why the fixed sign? Because this full moon is happening on like the fixed signs of Scorpio, the opposition in the fixed sign Taurus, and we have the energy in Aquarius that is also fixed. And when you have fixed energy, it is almost like locked in energy. It's not a flowy, easy, moving, initiating energy. It's a locked in energy that almost asks us to, or it's an energy that resists, or it's an energy that wants to not change. Or yeah. So yeah, so sit with that. Dulcie, anything else? Okay, new moons and full moons. Dulcie, what
Yes,
is this?
that's all good. So this is a full moon, but the cycle started around November 14th, 15th, during the new moon in Scorpio. So yeah, that happens when the sun and the moon are together on the same side of the earth, and we can't see the moon. It's a dark sky, and that's the beginning of something. That's the planting of a seed. It's the initiation of something in our life that is related to the Scorpio energy in our life. And as time progresses, we move on to the full moon, which is happening currently. And whatever started in November is now blossoming currently in April. It's in our face. We're at the climax. We're experiencing the fruits of our labors. And so any themes that you have been seeing from November, mid-November, you are now seeing even more clearly. The bright light of the moon is shining on them quite clearly for you now.
Full moon, full bloom. I can see clearly now. That's what happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So take a little moment to ponder on that. Like,
Yeah. I guess
what
look
were you
back
doing in
at your
November?
calendar.
What was happening? Yeah, what was happening with you? That's why it's good to keep a journal. So the moon and Scorpio. So what does the moon represent? Like, Dulcie, what do you see in this image?
Yeah, so just talking about this image alone, so we see the mother with her child, and it's representing that most basic relationship, that most basic feeling of being nurtured and cared for and feeling connected to another. And yeah.
Yeah, so the moon is essentially your emotional nature. So wherever you have your moon, that represents your emotions, because it's like the mom holding the baby, and the baby said when it's first born and it's in contact with the mom, it's like, oh, I'm safe, you know. So it's the basic nurturing. It's also connected to the feminine yin principle, because the lunar energies are internal. They're not externalized, like the sun, solar energies. They're internalized. And it speaks of our deep emotional needs. So however we express our moon is how how we how we deeply feel things. And so the idea of feeling into the moon is that mother is almost like the cosmic mother saying it's okay. That's what the moon represents in general.
Yeah, you're processing things too. You're processing emotional content, you're processing your inner thought process.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And now we go into Scorpio.
Dun, dun,
And now we
dun.
go like dun 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 Scorpio. So we do have a very, very thorough video on Scorpio on the Astrology Victoria channels. If you want to go watch it, we'll leave the link below. But we're going to go on a quick overview so you understand the Scorpio archetypal feel of that energy. So Dulcie, what do you see in this image?
Yeah, so we see this dark cave with water at the bottom, and we don't really know what's in that water, but it gives you the sense of something uncomfortable is there, something maybe even a little bit scary that you don't necessarily want to be looking at. And we see I see the butterfly there as sort of a transformation, moving from that inner struggle, the inner darkness, to then the light, and whatever that process has brought you to is now given you those wings to feel much lighter and freer.
Yeah, there's a caterpillar at the bottom in the water, and then there's that skull too, almost like that process of dying in order to be reborn.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Right, the whole process of metamorphosis, exactly.
The
Um,
death and rebirth. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, we see some, taboo topics for
Yeah.
sure. Uh,
Sexuality merging. The energy of Scorpio is merging. Yeah.
yeah, I see that woman sleeping kind of on the left side, and I know that we had different views of that, but she seems to be sleeping peacefully to me. So in my mind, she hasn't yet looked at what's in here,
Hmm.
and she's about to. Um,
Maybe when she opens her eyes, she'll go like, "Oh, I'm sleeping with a skull."
mhm.
So we're always kind of carrying our unconscious darkness with us. It's kind of part of that.
Yeah. Or yeah, that she's sleeping, so she's accessing it through her
Yeah.
unconscious.
Mm-hmm. That too. Yeah.
Right.
So, yes, we talk about the depth because Scorpio is deep waters. It's not light, it's not surfacey. It's, you have to go and dive deep. It's the depth of the psyche. It's the energy of merging. The only way to truly know something is to merge with it completely. That's where we see the shadow side. So not everything is just pretty. Like it's real. There's in this duality world we do have light and shadow. So the shadow is not ignored, and Scorpio is the representative of that. Like like you said, Dulcie, it's also the metamorphosis process. Once we acknowledge, we see those shadows. The butterfly gets into the cocoon, dies to the cocoon, only to be reborn and experience a different sense of self. That's what we talk about death and rebirth with Scorpio. And it's intense because these themes, when we look at the darker themes, it's intense. It's not light. It's intense. um,
Yeah.
and do you want to talk a little bit about the rulers of Scorpio for those
Yeah.
who are learning astrology?
So the ancient ruler of Scorpio is Mars, and the modern ruler is Pluto. Um, so it just adds in that um, Mars representing kind of like a penetrating
Hmm.
aspect to it. And it's different from an Aries Mars. It also rules Aries. It's a depth kind of penetrating rather than a forward motion.
Or outward, yeah. It's like,
Yeah. Um,
yeah.
deep.
So whenever we talk about Pluto and Scorpio, we talk about a similar archetypal feeling of death, rebirth, transformation, power. And Mars also has like so it's like a volcano, right? It's volcanic. It's just rah. So that's the Scorpio. So we put two and two together and goes
Hmm.
our feelings. uh
Yeah.
Something happened to that moon. Well,
Right.
there you go. That moon is, oh, you froze, Dulcie.
Did I? Oh,
Hello.
thought you froze for me.
I think we're having some technical issues here. So we have the moon is opposing, as we can tell from here in Scorpio, that, like Dulcie said, it's opposing the sun, that it's the full moon. But it's also is opposing the whole stellium or group of planets in Taurus. That in itself is very intense. The moon opposing the sun is usually the tension between the feminine yin aspect and the expression in reality. The expression in manifest reality. So there is a tension between what we feel and what we're wanting to express. And the sun is very close to Uranus, conjunct Uranus. What is happening is that the sun Uranus is like demanding change. Uranus wants to liberate, free us. So we are trying to free ourselves. There is an imminent change. There's a desire to individuate, to find who we truly are. And that Sun Uranus is creating that push, that change. And then we have on the other side Mercury, which is our mind, how we communicate, how we express, together bunching up with Venus. And Venus brings beauty, grace. Venus, it's in its home sign of Taurus. So it's almost bringing kindness, kind words, gentleness, a soothing of our mind, how we communicate and express. The stellium of planets, Venus, Mercury, Venus, Uranus, and then Venus, Uranus, it's also it's changing the way we value like relationships, money, our relationship to people, to things, to how we even earn our money. That's what we were discussing at the very beginning. There's a lot of change involved. There might be even sudden changes with relationships, maybe breakups or something, a new person coming into your life out of the blue that's going to bring you something more of what you need, or somebody leaving your life that no longer supports what you're needing to come into the next best version of yourself. And all of this, and like even the Mercury and Uranus, you can either have genius ideas that come out of the blue of how to move forward, but it could also be a very restless energy, maybe even anxious, like lots of thoughts, ideas, like everything is possible at this moment. It feels like shaky ground. And at the same time, it's also demanding us to pause so we can process this emotional feelings of everything that's being disrupted outside at the same time. So that's the oppositions that this moon is having, not only to the sun as that natural light, but the intensity. And this is in Taurus. So to understand better the energy of Taurus, so we saw the energy of Scorpio, we're going to also go briefly through what it represents. So Dulcie, can you see here the image?
Lovely, peaceful.
So what's going on there?
Yeah, so we see this woman, and she's relaxing in paradise. She has everything that she needs to survive and to thrive. She has food, she has peace, she has beauty. She has, just the essentials that she needs to live a healthy and peaceful life.
Yes, Taurus speaks of like stability, whereas Scorpio has this changing emotional landscape. Taurus is stable, is solid, it's slow. Stop and smell the roses.
Earthy.
It's also the sensual pleasures, the actual senses, the sensing body, the smells, the tastes, nature, how your hands feel in the ground when you're touching the soil, and just it's so simple. It's connected to beauty, to natural beauty. When you watch a sunset or see a flower or smell the scent of cedar, or things like that is connected to nature. It's also how we connect to our material resources, because it's what Mother Earth gives us. So we're connected to the earth, and the earth gives us what we need. That's why it's connected to material, because it's grounded. It's not in the mind. It's really how we survive, and it's simple. So you see now the conundrum in this full moon. There's this energy pulling on one side, and that other dark, deep energy pulling on the other side. And it just requires integration of both so we can move forward. So going back to what, like the summary of that current stellium. So Dulcie, we have, so for those who are new to astrology, a stellium is just when we have a group of planets bunched up. That's a stellium. So the Uranus sun is catalyzing the change, and it's highlighting the urge for liberation and individuation. Who am I? You might have breakthrough and awakenings happening as well, like spiritual awakenings or awakenings of different kinds, or rebellious impulses. Anything else about that Uranus sun, Dulcie?
Just sudden ideas of how to be oneself uniquely.
Exactly. How to be
expression, self-expression.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What about the Venus Mercury?
Yeah, Venus Mercury. So you're finding ways of interacting with yourself and with others in a harmonious way.
Mhm.
So yeah, finding a variety of ways of doing that. So here we have poetry or journaling or talking with a friend or a loved one, making your self-expression beautiful.
So this is the time where we say, if you are going through a hardship, take your journal and write some desperation poetry that will help release those energies instead of lashing out or even being self-destructive. Like, you could be creating something beautiful, a poem, a song, or just journal, just basically journaling out all of your emotions, or making a drawing, or even just like talking to a friend, like sharing with somebody that can help you process. It is also that Venus, Uranus, and with Mercury is a good time for self-expression, to express what's inside of you, what's wanting to come as uniquely yours. So yeah, it's a theme of personal style. So great time to do that. Also, counseling, talking, holding space. That Taurus energy allows itself to be a safe container. So if you have friends that are going through something really emotional and you can be that safe container, you can help them process, right, Dulcie?
Yes, definitely. I love counseling. Big fan of
Well, you're a counselor. Yay. And another thing that is really, I would say, important that could help us process those energies, and it's to be close to nature. If you have even just your local park, go for a walk. Don't stay in your, go for a walk, plant a garden if you can, or even have a few flowers. You can also grow food for those who are like starting their own gardens, or even tomatoes grow really easily inside. So things like that are connected to the earth, and that you can use your hands to connect to earth somehow, are going to help with the emotional processing while you're going through difficult times. So that's what the Taurus stellium is giving us.
the grounding during the emotional.
Yeah. Yeah. So now we have, I'm kind of keep moving this around. Now we have the other side of things, is the dynamic aspects, or in this case, dynamic means where there's tension. And the moon is ta-dan, here in the square to Saturn. And this is how that feels. So, Dulcie, what do you see in that image? This may feel like this. So, don't be surprised if you're in this.
Yeah, Moon Saturn, feelings of loneliness and sadness and um, difficulty seeing that light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, just kind of that deep depression. And when you're experiencing depression, it's difficult to recognize that it's not forever. It does go away. It doesn't. This feeling doesn't last forever. But when you're in it, it feels like it will.
Yeah, definitely. There's these sensations of, yeah, that there's no nurturing, basically. That this light that is here is almost like it's there, but you can't see it because you're caught up, and it feels like these walls are just constricting you, and then what's the point? So it could produce or provoke, loneliness, depression, hopelessness. But again, it's a dynamic aspect, so there is always a silver lining. And when one can recognize that there's also something good about being rational and maybe a little bit more stoic as well, then there can be progress in other areas. So the whole point is not to just throw away these emotions, is to recognize, like, at this moment many people are backing lockdowns, right? And this Saturn is almost saying, everybody back inside. There's a reason for it too, because this is what else allows us to see what's really going on, so we can break through. That's the whole point. Nothing is coincidence in the universe. These planetary bodies are making its thing. So even what's going on outside is helping us, but if we stay in this energy, well, it can be very, very difficult. So, and we're seeing that, of course, these aspects are very, very tense. But now here's the good news: we have the flowing aspects. So at this moment we have a few trines. So a flowing aspect is when the ease energy comes easy. It's almost a supportive energy. So we have a trine of the moon to Mars here. So here is Mars, here's the moon. Mars is in Cancer, another water sign. And we have a trine to the moon here, and the moon is trining Jupiter here in Aquarius. So if we're experiencing loneliness, a desire to change, this oppression, well, what is that Jupiter and that Mars energy doing for us? What do you see here, Dulcie? This, the Mars in Cancer and the Jupiter in Aquarius. How would you express those?
Yeah,
The,
Mars in Cancer, it has an indirect way of dealing with issues. So Mars wants to move quickly and to deal with things head on, but Cancer is a water sign, and it involves emotions and is represented by the crab, which does not move forward; it moves side to side. So when Mars is in Cancer, it's trying its hardest to get to what it wants to do. It's trying its hardest to solve its problems. And here you drew the picture of this sea creature. So it's trying to spear the sea creature. But it's
the sea creature is our own inner demon. So the beauty of this Mars in Cancer, like trining the moon, is that instead of using that, is to use that energy to go back to the past. The moon rules Cancer, so we're almost asked to look back to the past, to our roots, to what's going on, what has been causing those shadows, where did it originate, and go strong like a warrior. Mars, whoa, with the spear, going, hello demon fish, here I am. And then guess what? You're going to have a plenty of bounty fish at the end and saying, I did it. So there is also that need to go within, go and chase those demons with courage. It's not necessarily the time to be going out, in I mean, if you can, of course. And then Jupiter, what's Jupiter bring in this beautiful supportive energy? Dulcie, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, we've been feeling a sense of stuckness, of isolation and confinement, but with Jupiter kind of playing a more prominent role in all of this, is we're starting to feel that hope again, to see that light at the end of the tunnel, to recognize that we are going places again. We will, you know, find an end to all of this and reach something good, something a little bit
Actually,
better.
maybe even better,
Yeah.
right? I think that Jupiter in Aquarius is definitely wanting us to look into all the new solutions. And Aquarius brings such a new energy. It's very novel. It's very futuristic. There is, in while we get rid of the old, then there's new things. And even though it's scary to go into the new, as we little by little take those steps and reach into that light, we'll see that eventually we'll be pulled by that light and taken out through to the other side. So that's what Jupiter's doing there. So you see, that was that. And then we have, of course, the Mars. We see here Mars is aspecting the moon, and Mars is also in contact with Jupiter. So those three planets are working together to get us, to pull us through, so we do not stay stuck in the old ways, stuck in what I know. It's better this way and I'd rather be here. Or I am stuck in here, life is horrible. No, there is other things, especially if we do process and release the old. And then we can see now the aspects to Jupiter as well. They're here in some minor aspects also to the sun and to Uranus. So everything's kind of connected. A lot of positive can come out of this. And so we do have that softening from Jupiter. And now the next theme. This is where it's getting, this is our last like really tense thing, the T square. T square because the point is Saturn and we have the moon and the stellium. So that T square is like things are about to snap, you know? Because I have this analogy that when you have those very tense squares and T squares, it's like having a ball of yarn that's all tangled. And we can either slowly and methodically, Saturningly untangle it until the tension is released, or we can pull and be desperate until we break it and there it just makes a mess. It still releases the tension, but it leaves the mess.
Mhm.
Or cut it and still just snip it and leave the mess. So either way, these are forces. The Uranian force is pulling to liberate, the Saturnian force is pulling to keep it. And the moon is like, feeling these emotions between that new thing and that old thing, and that new thing and that old thing. That can feel very intense. So go
Yeah.
ahead, Chelsea. What do you see? I created this image because that's how I felt this archetype from
Yeah.
the, you know.
Yeah, we're feeling that tension between the feeling of being trapped and constricted and you know, responsibilities all over the place. And on the opposite side, there's a future that we're wanting to grasp and to have that sense of freedom and exploration. And so here we have a kind of Jack in the Box type image where this bird is still, you know, the bird is still stuck there in the Jack in the Box, but she's busted out. She's busted free. She's like, I've had enough of this. I am going out. And we are seeing that in the world today. We're seeing a lot of people saying, enough of this, enough of society telling me what I need to be, telling me what I need to do. I need to be free. I need to go out. I need to express myself. And that can be a good thing. It can be a negative thing. It just depends on the context and what's happening. But yeah, here we see society and the men in suits without heads. They're just kind
Yeah,
of,
cookie cutter,
yeah,
9 to 5, you know, that kind of regimented system. that's represented by that Saturnian regiment. Everybody's this work now to find, do this, do that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that bird is so colorful and so alive and so unique. That's like the Uranian. Uranus is pulling us to that freedom, and that spring is about to snap. you know
That
that's how
bird is
that
ready.
feels. Or the bird will fly with the box and we'll never see it again. Either way, we see these tensions right now in the world. They're very real. We're seeing a lot of protest manifestations, like people just, taking the streets for different things, then lockdowns again everywhere. It's insane. And we know we've talked a lot about the Saturn Uranus square in many other videos you can find on the internet, but it's good to bear in mind that that T square with all the planets in Taurus is really very prominent at this time. So my recommendation would be, do not snap the yarn, but be patient with yourself. Do your inner process. Don't lash out at people. Look within. The change happens when we look within and make the change from inside. Then we will have a positive change instead of slashing out or at others and trying to make others change. You become the change you want to see in the world, right? So yeah, this is how we can see this now. Uranus opposing, squaring Saturn, opposing the moon. Yeah, so that's basically it. So a little bit of our like current events, like we said. I think there's things happening. A little anecdote is my one dance colleague of mine organized a protest for the old growth forest here in BC that's getting cut completely, like, and that's very Taurus, right? The earth, very old trees getting cut, and like the logging companies just go and destroy everything. And her protest is with dance. She created this dance protest, and she's been doing it for like this past week and this week, and it's right on the theme, because Venus, Mercury, all that themes of expression, but it's with dance, it's with beauty, it's with grace, but it's protest, right? It's a very interesting thing. So, Dulcie, any other anecdote you'd like to
Yeah,
share?
just quickly, since we need to,
Wrap up.
yeah. Um, so around mid-November, at the end of last year, I had been experiencing a lot of anxiety, as a lot of people are. Um, and I knew that I needed to look deep within and sort things out. Um, and somehow I have been doing that subconsciously through my dreams. My subconscious just knew, and my dreams have been very deep, very have involved themes of, taboo or uncomfortable topics, and just, yeah, things that have been uncomfortable for me to face. And but they're not uncomfortable in my dream is very interesting. So every night I'm processing these emotions and these difficult feelings or life experiences, and then waking up and remembering them fully and feeling so much lighter. So now that it's the full moon, I've actually noticed a significant difference in my mental well-being and a reduction of anxiety because of that. Yeah.
Wow, that's really powerful. Yeah. So yeah, so this is like, if you've been feeling these energies, if this has been speaking to you, we would love to hear your comments. So please share with us how you've been feeling. If this you resonate with this, what you see in the world, we'd really love to see and interact with the public and see what everybody's feeling. And we're also here as a community to support each other. So that's really important. So now to like wrap up, we're going to do a very short guided meditation so that we integrate this. So if this is you and you're needing a little bit of support, even you can watch this later. We're going to do like a very short 5-minute meditation. So I'm going to invite you all to first just close your eyes. Sit in a comfortable position. Close your eyes and take a deep, deep breath. And as you breathe in and out, feel your body relaxing more and more. Take a few deep breaths in and out. Focus your attention on any parts of the body that could have tension that we're releasing in this full moon. You don't need to know what you're releasing. Just allow the intelligence of your body to release. Take a deep breath in and another deep breath out. Now I invite you to focus on the area of your heart. Just locate that area. You may even put your hands on your heart to feel and soften. Now imagine a bright white lunar light, like silver light, pouring from above your head, washing all over you. Little diamonds and silvery sparks, cleansing and clearing anything that may be stuck. Feel how your heart softens gently. Focus for a moment on things you're actually grateful for. For the future is bright when we focus on the things we have in the present that we most love. Bring to your awareness that sense of gratitude and peace. Feel your heart pulsing a bright white and silver light. As you breathe calmly and relax and release. And keep breathing. Keep your gentle breath going like a wave of peace. Allow the lunar energies to wash all over you. Anything that needs to be released at this moment, may it be released. And may you find peace in your heart. Take another deep breath and slowly come back to your senses. Wiggle your fingers, toes, and you may open your eyes when you feel ready. And we will be now ending our presentation. Thank you to everybody who was here with us. You can find us at Astrology Victoria BC on Facebook, Instagram, and Meetup. and YouTube. So please feel free to click subscribe, like, share if you like this video, and see to our other videos as well. And please also subscribe to Archetypal News Network, ANN. Again, I said they have amazing astrology videos every single day of the week. You can find me and my services at tatianahassan.com/spiritual toolbox. We will leave all these links below. And again, thanks so much to ANN and Ren Butler, James Moran, and all the team of ANN for having us present this full moon in Scorpio. We look forward to seeing you again. And this is the time to say goodbye.
Thanks,
So,
guys.
Dulcie,
Thanks, Anna.
anything you'd like to add?
Thank you guys for joining us tonight. And yeah, we look forward to talking astrology with you some more in the future. Hooray.
All right, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you. Many blessings. And we're off.